a lot going on with National Signing Day, the first one, of course, and preparations for the Pac-12 championship game against USC. So finish up our walkthroughs today, along with a couple practices earlier in the week. The preparations are going really well. I feel like we've got a relatively healthy team. Looking forward to the opportunity, but overall, just an awesome National Signing Day, and still some more room to get an even bigger class. So that being said, questions, please.
First question is going to go to James Crapia from the Oregonian.
Mario, there we go. Mario, obviously it's a class loaded at the O-line and receiver position in particular, some on the defensive edge as well. Your takeaways at those positions and why those were such a high priority. Obviously the receiver a high priority in this class.
Without a doubt, especially the caliber of playmaker that existed out on the West Coast this year, we thought those guys were critical, to our operation. And then you look at being able to go into the state of Mississippi and get a guy like Isaiah Brevard, just, again, best receiver in the state. But, you look at the rest of the guys, guys like Dante Thornton, the best in the Northeast. You're looking at three guys that are arguably the best in the country at what they do. I can't say enough about them. I know them all personally. Had a couple of them in camp multiple times, been at their high schools. Obviously, they weren't able to take official visits, but those guys are awesome. They're just explosive guys. Troy, known Troy forever, been recruited at high school forever. And the fact that they're now actually officially Oregon Ducks is awesome. That's a position that, man, we can, our guys are doing a great job this year. And the fact that we're adding this kind of talent to upgrade and elevate the standards is awesome.
Kevin Wade, 247 Sports.
As you noted, you had a number of those guys, really just the whole class, come on campus before and just for the past year. How important was it to get those guys on campus early? I know you had the March Junior Day where I think more than half of the current signees were there.
That was a big day. That was the day before shutdown, believe it or not. And I was looking at the paper, the guys that were actually here. I know Ty Thompson was here along with Maliki. Mo was here. Dante had been here before. Troy came over. Jackson Light's been here about 1 million times. I can't even remember how many times he's been here. He's like our best recruiter. Jonah had already been here. Kingsley had been here. Going right down the list, Keith had been here a number of times, as had Brandon, Buckner, and Terrell had come for a basketball game. Sorry for looking down. I'm just reading off the list to try to get it all right. But again, having the opportunity to have them here and have them watch us practice in the way we operate, to me, is almost more important than them being here for a game when it's all bells and whistles and all the fun stuff in the big crowd. We'd like for guys to see how we operate, the level of expectation, and how we grind at practice, how we push and how we challenge our players, and how we coach and teach them. And they loved it, and certainly we're glad they were here for that. It ended up being an awesome signing day.
Let's go to Jordan Ham, Sports 360 AZ.
Hey, Coach. As he said, I'm in Arizona, and you guys had quite the day in the state. Just how have you been able to prioritize Arizona, and just what do you think you're getting out of these 4 players from the state?
Yeah, Jordan, the state of Arizona has awesome football, incredible football, high-level coaching, high-level teaching and development. And you're looking at 4 guys that, and I know that Jonah wasn't able to play here, but if he would have been right along with those other guys who've pulled about every award the state of Arizona has to offer. Best offensive lineman, best defensive player, best quarterback. 2 of those guys won state titles. You're looking at a place that we feel that we have to recruit extremely well, extremely hard, because of the caliber of talent, the caliber of coaching, teaching, development there. And, it's a quick flight. It's a quick flight to Eugene. So certainly an area that we're proud to recruit, and that we want to continue recruiting to have success and elevate the program.
Tyson Alger, The Athletic.
Over these last 3 years, as you guys have continued to stack these program best classes on top of each other, you've repeatedly said how you guys are just getting going, and it's kind of like in the process of to where you guys want to be. How, after this class, are you just in terms of or where does this class put you in the long term of where this program needs to be in terms of its overall talent?
Well, I think with last year's class, with a couple, we had a couple of guys that have been out for the year. Obviously, Justin hasn't been able to play since the first game, and guys like Dante and Jackson LeDuc and Jalen Jeffers. But I think when you pair up that class with this class, now we're getting closer to where the roster needs to look like. We lay the whole thing out. We projected 2 and 3 years out. We feel that's the best way to recruit, right? Because you're going to have to fill certain positions earlier than others. Some guys are going to get calls by the NFL. After year 3, other guys are going to have to run the gamut and go 4 and 5 years. So I think we're approaching there. I think after this signing, the second signing period, a really true assessment as to where we are. There's a lot of possibilities coming up now, right? With the 1 year, transfer rule in effect, grad transfers coming up. There's a lot, and we still have spots available. So after we fill them up, and we'll see where we are. And after spring practice, you definitely know where you're going to be in terms of where your strong points are, where you need more help. But either way, it's always going to be a never-ending foot on the gas process, always.
Eric Scopel, 247 Sports.
A natural follow-up transition here, Mario. You mentioned a couple of times some room to build off of some scholarships available. Do you have ideas of what position groups you want to address still with those remaining spots, and maybe how many you think you have?
Well, certainly we want to be the most dynamic in the country at the edge. We also want to always invest in the lines if we can. But there's also a best available aspect to this. Okay. We feel good at certain positions. Other ones, it's almost like, okay, we have room, we have space if he is elite. That way, he's a guy that's going to find a way to play regardless. Then other needs, we always want to continue to, we're thinned out at certain positions right now on the back end. Certain earlier in the year we want to bolster that a little bit, but there is a best available player and athlete aspect to this, both developmental and impact guy. So we will have between all the different avenues now, grad transfers, transfer portal, guys that are still available that we're recruiting. I mean, overseas recruiting has picked up a bunch now. There's Henry Cattleman's a soccer player, right? That came and played football. So you never know, but certainly we are searching always for the best available talent.
Matt Preem, 247 Sports.
Mario, receivers are all significantly taller than normal, 6'2", 6'3", or taller, and add in with your tight ends. Was that an added focus? I mean, I know you've got talented receivers, but these guys are physically different than the guys currently on your roster for the most part.
Well, I'll start by saying I wouldn't trade our guys for anybody in the world. So I certainly don't want to make it like, hey, we're trying to change what we are, man. The receivers we have right now, and as hard as they work and the way Brian McClendon has worked with these guys and developed them, I love them. So I wouldn't trade them. Second part is, as a team, when you look at what we want to be a big, fast, physical football team at every position. Big, fast, and physical. Length as well. So this certainly fits that criteria. These guys are physical guys. They're explosive guys. They can make you miss. They have unbelievable ball skills and control. They make contested catches all the time. They are mismatched nightmares is what they are. And, if you look at our tight ends and Terrence and Maliki, both these guys, I mean, hard to cover. And what we're doing and the way we're progressing offensively, the way we're looking at stretching the field, these guys provide a dimension, a different aspect that we need, and guys that we feel very confident can come in, especially with about 15 or 16 being mid-year guys, early enrollees, that 15 or 16 of these guys coming in here early, getting in our winter conditioning program and participating in spring football could have a tremendous impact on our team next year.
AJ Jacobson, Rivals.
Coach, talking about the Arizona recruits, one of them, Ty Thompson, just led his high school Mesquite team to a second state championship there. Talk about that quarterback and how you see him fitting in with your offense.
Oh, I think we always felt he was the best one in the country, hands down. He can do it all. And he has the makeup to match. He has the DNA, made of the right stuff, raised the right way. Incredible family. Had a chance to spend a couple days with them while they were here right before the pandemic hit. And, inside and out, he is just a true champion, a winner, a field general. and a relentless worker. You know, every time you get a hold of the guy, he's at a gym or he's on the field or he's working. You know, he spends time working and always just giving his time to others. So I can't say enough about him. Again, just him and this entire class, very different in the sense that, you know, we never got them all here at the same time, but they built an unbelievable relationship, and it was fostered by Jackson Light and by Keith Brown. Those two guys they got together and they really started generating just unbelievable friendships and ties and bonds. And next thing you know, I mean, these guys, I mean, I almost feel like I should let them pick their jerseys first because of how well they did, you know, recruiting the rest of the class. And that's important because, you know, high achievers want to be around the high achievers, and that's what these guys are and represent. So we're focused on a game. At the same time, I'm trying to gush a little bit about the class. You know, that's the balance of the day, right? It's been like that. But man, I cannot wait to see these guys on campus. But I can't wait because we have certainly business at hand that we need to take care of.
Andrew Hobner, KZI.
Yeah, Mario, I talked to Keith Brown a little bit earlier this afternoon, and I asked him about him kind of being a recruiter for this class. And he said one of the big things that he was selling kids on was the state of Oregon, moving here, living here, and what it was like. Having an Oregon native like that be able to paint a picture of this place when you guys can't get dudes in on visits or to come see Oregon itself unless they're doing it on their own time. How important was that for you guys during a sort of virtual year?
Well, there's no doubt. Keith is like Mr. Oregon. I mean, I plan when the pandemic clears to go whitewater rafting with him and fishing with him. I mean, he knows the state inside and out, go hiking. I mean, the pictures he sends us, it's like, man, you know, part-time tour guide, you know, he could make a hell of a living. But I think, well, just look at, I guess the best way to examine it is just take a look at the Rose Bowl and who are your two MVPs, right? Two in-state guys. So is it important? It's critically important. It means a ton of those guys. And to be able to have the best player in the state join our family, for us, it's an honor. We don't take that for granted. And we always want to make the state of Oregon a priority in recruiting. And the fact that he is just so into his hometown, his home state, it's awesome. And those guys are so important in getting guys that come from, remember, if you look at our locker room and you read the whereabouts, the origins from all of the guys that come in, they're from all over. Like that really introduce them into our state, the culture, you know, the outdoors. It's a great thing to answer your question.
Warren Williamson, Oregon Duck Football News.
Mario, if you would, give us a snapshot of your day today. I mean, you said you're planning to play a championship game in a couple of days, one of the most important days today in recruiting. What time did you come in and what's your day been like? And any surprises today?
No, you know what? It lacked drama, which is good. I've been on the other side of some of these days where, man, when those phones go silent and you can't get a hold of somebody, get that just that in the pit of your stomach that something's up. You got a hold of them. Can you get a hold of them? I can't. What about you? I can't. Oh boy. So no drama. No drama today. Days for today for all of us start around 3:45, you know, and it's been carried on. We still got to go on, right? We still have prep. We still have a bunch of stuff to do. But I don't think any coach should ever like pat themselves on the back for that. Like that's what the job is. So just get it done. You know what I mean? Get it done. So, but that being said, yeah, there was no drama. I think one guy overslept and he was a little bit late on sending in his papers. So we're going to give him jersey number 00, and that's what he'll have to wear next year.
James.
It's a Friday's game, Mario. We didn't ask you as much outside of Slovis the other day. So at the skill positions, their receiving core on offense, their edge rushers on defense, how do you go about containing both of those groups on each side?
Yeah, I think their wide receiver crew is deep. You know, it's more than just one guy, and they move those guys around. They put them in the 2 spot, the 3 spot. Obviously, you've seen, Drake London make a ton of plays at the slot position, but the rest of those guys are making plays all over the field. So you've got to be very disciplined. You've got to be very instinctive and reactive and play to the best of your ability, knowing that, they're about as good as it gets in the country. Okay, so there's no room let's say there's little room for error, especially as it relates to discipline and technique, because they'll get you. And their edge rushers are excellent. I mean, they really are. They're off the charts, but they're complemented by some really, really explosive and powerful interior play. You know, they have a lot of you know, 1 and 2 linebacker blitzes and cross blitzes from the out front, from the 4 down front. So it allows those defensive tackles to one gap stunt and get up the field. And they're big, they're massive, they're explosive. They do a really good job with their hands. They've been coached really well. So a tremendous amount of respect for those guys up front. You have to play your best football. And I think when you get to championship games, that's what it's all about. You have to be at your very best to have success.
Kevin.
Coach, over the past few months, I've asked some of your assistants what they think about recruiting under you. And some of them call you the hardest working recruiting head coach. Some of your peers nationally have said that as well. Where did you develop that mentality of being a hard recruiting head coach?
Just honestly, just humbled and privileged to be in this position, and just want to do whatever needs to be done, and for the sake of the program, the community, the people, our players. So I don't know. I'm humbled that people have said that, but there's a lot of work to be done.
Eric?
Maybe tie this together a little bit, Mario, but Oregon, USC competing for Pac-12 championship, Oregon, USC, 2 best recruiting programs. That rivalry, both as, you know, in terms of on the field, but also recruiting, has it been, I don't want to say fun, but how has it been watching that develop here during your time the last 3 or 4 years?
Well, for the entire conference, I have tremendous respect for everybody. Always will, always have. I think football requires that, you know, and you want to see it, you know. You want to see competition. You want to see teams really keep each other on edge and bring out the best in each other as a conference, which I think is extremely important for our conference. So we enjoy it. I'm sure they enjoy it. Get a chance to go on the field and play. Hopefully, every year in some way, either part of the schedule or to meet up in a game like this. So I think it's important for a lot of reasons, and I think it's a privilege to be in a game like this against our opponents. So really, just really fired up and excited about the opportunity.
We got time for 1 or 2 more, Matt.
This has been a year of adaptation. I'm curious, do you think you'll carry over anything from how you guys have had to recruit this year with Zooms and how easy it is now to get in front of face-to-face with someone digitally for when this pandemic is over and we can go back to a normal life? Is there anything you're going to carry over from this cycle?
I think there certainly are some things that when they can't get to you, you got to bring Oregon to their home. We have found some things technologically that provided, we feel, some amazing advantages. Hopefully you're not talking to our staff members that are trying to get me to let them stay at home and hang out and do recruiting from home. That's not going to happen. But now these guys are grinders. They work hard. It really has. I mean, this technology, this Zoom stuff, whoever put it together, hats off to them. It's been a great teaching tool. I mean, even you should see Bobby Williams on this thing. I mean, Bobby Williams is he looks like it's like Star Wars, man. He's just doing all kinds of stuff and all kinds of graphics and lines and teaching guys on special teams, coverage, patterns, and all that. So, gosh, there's a bunch to be taken away from this. And we actually had a meeting on this right before we started camp, and we jotted a bunch of stuff down. I'll get that to you because that's a real important question for our processes going forward. And we're going to implement some things. But they all involve really, really hard work. We just got to get like a romper room for the kids for those, the Nerf guns and the darts and all that stuff. That stuff's like out of control. So,
Last question, Tyson.
Mario, just going back to the little drama aspect of today, if you go back to when the Pac-12 initially delayed everything or even announced that they canceled, I think there was a lot of people projecting that this was going to be a doomsday scenario on the recruiting front for this conference. But you guys and USC are still among the best classes in the nation. Just what sort of problems did that, or just like how was it recruiting considering the Pac-12 standing of getting things going later this year?
Well, it doesn't help, right? It certainly it doesn't help your cause. I just, we have a mindset that regardless of what happens, you're just not going to give into it. And I think the moment you do, the moment you start letting it just creep into it, it does affect your process, your performance. You just don't let anything chip away at it, and we chose not to, because when it started earlier, we're like, man, when it was first announced that we were pushing everything, we're like, our spring game is our recruiting thing. Like, that's the event. How are we gonna overcome that? And if you look at the timeline, I have a pretty neat calendar that shows all the commitments happened. And there was a period of time where it was like, wow, we're putting in a lot of hours, and it's just, we're not generating the movement that we want. And then, over time, all of a sudden, it just really started stacking up and building upon itself. So yeah, it certainly presented, the end picture does not give you a full idea of how challenging it really was and how much we learned from it. So, but looking forward to moving on with an awesome class, and looking forward to adding more to this class as well.
Thank you, Coach. Congratulations on a great class.
Okay. Thank you guys. Appreciate you guys. Have a safe night, and I'll see you guys on Friday.